Welcome to Lifing My Best Life. I'm Sean Spence, and I'm so glad you're here. Before I tell you what this show is about, let me tell you where I was on Saturday in February. I'm at a restaurant in St. Louis called Yellow Belly, one of the 12 best restaurants in Missouri, according to a pretty objective ranking system I use. I'm with my wife Lee. It's Valentine's Day weekend, and I'm eating a beet salad that might just be the best I have ever eaten in my life. The room is warm, the wine is good, Lee is happy, and I'm thinking, this is how we should be spending our time. This is just the beginning. That feeling, that specific earned feeling of a life being lived on purpose, is exactly what this podcast is about. Here's the thing. I use a wheelchair. I've had MS for years. I live in Columbia, Missouri, which is a wonderful, eclectic little city with plenty of fun to find. And I'm old, 55, and have been settling in a bit, like we mostly all do, preparing to enjoy the last third or so of my life, taking it easy. And then one day, something shifted just a couple of months ago. I realized that the only thing between me and a genuinely adventurous, meaningful, ridiculous, wonderful rest of my life was a decision. Just a decision. To go, to ask, to try, to book the restaurant, to send the letter, to start the project. So I made the decision. And now I have a podcast. Let me tell you about a few things I'm working on because this show is going to be built around doing not aspirational stuff, not theory, just real things happening in real time. First, the restaurant trip. I'm planning a trip to all 50 states and Washington, D.C., eating in the single best restaurant in each one. I'm calling it the 2031 restaurant trip because that's when I'm going, giving me plenty of time to prepare and also let myriad other adventures evolve. I've built the criteria: Michelin, James Beard, media recognition, in state voting, and even AI assistance. A pre trip around Missouri is already underway. Yellow Belly in St. Louis was actually the second official visit after Root Food and Wine in Augusta in January. Both were everything I could have wanted them to be. For the first, I was actually accompanied by my middle school best friend, Brian Gilbert, who happens to live about a half hour from the restaurant. What I especially love was what happened next. I do a biweekly newsletter about the 2031 restaurant trip, and a reader, Carrie in Kansas City, read about the trip and made her own reservation at Yellow Belly, 240 miles away from where she lived. We are apparently driving commerce. I love that. And another reader named Vanessa asked if I'd be reviewing the Missouri restaurants. Obviously, I should, so now I am. That's the thing about starting something. People show up and make it better. Then there's most interesting meals, an idea that came from the restaurant trip. Columbia's most interesting people are identified through community nomination and voting. We go to dinner, and I write about them for the Columbia Missourian. Just this week, I sat down with Nobel laureate George Smith and the equally remarkable Margie Sable at Sycamore, one of the best restaurants in Columbia. A Nobel laureate at dinner, talking to me. The woman instrumental in bringing public health to Missouri at dinner, talking to me. That happened because the decision was made to make it happen. Dinner with some of the most fascinating humans I've ever met. This is my life now, and I don't take a minute of it for granted. Third, Homeless Persons Memorial Day, remembering people we have lost while living unsheltered in the previous year. Every year on the winter solstice, communities hold vigils to remember the people who died while living without shelter. It happens in a few hundred cities right now, and it needs to happen in a few thousand cities. The plan is to use Rotary, Rotary clubs in basically all of our communities. I've been a member for 28 years, And there are clubs everywhere, small towns, big cities, and every nook and cranny of every state. If clubs adopt the day, we can spread it everywhere. I reached out to Rotary International, and staff there asked me to write a blog post about it, and then they're going to do a profile in their magazine. How did that connection happen? Another newsletter reader, someone who read about the trip, saw a thread, and pulled it. This is what happens when you start something and let people in. So that's the show. Each Friday, I will share the fun, educational, helpful, crazy things that happen, the dinners, the projects, the small wins, and the spectacular miscalculations. Get ready for plenty of those. I'm going to introduce you to remarkable people. I'm going to tell you about the best meals I've eaten recently, and I'm going to keep making the case that a full life is available to basically anyone who decides they want it. That's the whole thing. Decide, then go. I'm Sean Spence. This is Lifing My Best Life. Thanks for being here, and I'll see you next episode.